In the bustling city of Owerri, Chief Okoro was admired as a man who had it all. His business empire flourished, his home stood like a palace, and his wife Ngozi and their 3 children were admired as the picture of perfection. Every morning, neighbors watched with envy as the family shared laughter at the breakfast table, their unity shining like a dream. Chief himself believed it too. He had worked hard, built his fortune, and believed God had blessed him with a loyal wife and a thriving family. But behind his warm smile, a shadow of doubt quietly lingered. Sometimes he looked into the faces of his children and saw traits that did not reflect him. Small things that only a father notices, a gesture, a stubborn expression, a look in the eye. And though he pushed it aside, the voice in his mind whispered a question he dared not say aloud. Are they truly mine? Suspicion began to gnaw at Chief Okoro's soul like a slow, burning fire. One evening at his club, a friend laughed and boasted, "My brother, these days, DNA test is the real eye-opener. Men are discovering things they wish they never knew." The words pierced Chief's heart. That night, while his family slept, he paced his study restlessly, battling with thoughts he could not silence. The next morning, he made a decision that would change his life forever. Quietly, carefully, he collected strands of hair and toothbrushes from his children, all while masking his intent with the calmness of a father. Then, under the cover of business travel, he visited a private clinic in Enugu and handed the samples to a genetic specialist. As he signed the form, his hands trembled. He told himself it was only for peace of mind, to silence the whispering doubts. But deep down, he feared the truth waiting in that sealed envelope. Days turned into weeks, and with every passing hour, Chief Okoro carried the weight of dread in his chest. Finally, the call came. The results were ready. He drove alone to the clinic, the road stretching endlessly before him, his heart pounding louder with every turn of the wheel. In the doctor's office, the man in a white coat handed him a sealed envelope. Chief's fingers shook as he tore it open. His eyes scanned the first line, then froze. His breath caught in his throat. The report stated, without question, that his 3 children, his pride, his joy, his supposed legacy, were not his. A thick silence filled the room as he struggled to comprehend the words on the page. But then his eyes moved lower, and another truth struck like a blade. The child he had never truly acknowledged, the quiet daughter of his maid Grace, was his only biological blood. Chief staggered back, his world collapsing in that single instant. That night, fury consumed Chief's once proud heart. He stormed into his home, his voice shaking the walls. "Ngozi!" he roared, waving the report in the air. His wife appeared, startled, clutching her wrapper. He threw the papers at her feet. "Explain this. 3 children in my house. None of them mine." Ngozi's face went pale, her lips trembling. She tried to speak, but the truth pressed against her chest like a stone. Finally, tears streamed down her face. "It was your brother, Emeka. I was weak. It only happened once." Chief's voice thundered. Once? And yet 3 children came from it? Their shouts echoed through the halls, waking the children. Little feet pattered down the stairs, wide eyes staring at the chaos. The perfect picture was shattered, the mask torn away. And for the first time, the family that once seemed untouchable was left trembling under the weight of betrayal. The next morning, Chief Okoro sat in his study, his chest heavy with betrayal. He sent for his younger brother Emeka, and the atmosphere in the mansion turned icy. When Emeka walked in, the tension between them was thick enough to choke. Chief's eyes blazed with fury, his fists clenched around the damning DNA results. "Tell me the truth, Emeka," Chief roared, his voice shaking with anger and pain. At first, Emeka stammered, his lips fumbling with weak denials, pretending ignorance, trying to wriggle free. But as Chief pressed harder, cornering him with the evidence, Emeka's mask slipped. His arrogance surfaced like poison. With a smirk, Emeka leaned back and hissed, "Brother, you were too busy chasing contracts, running after money and fame. She needed comfort. I gave it to her." Those words sliced through Chief's soul deeper than any blade. His world spun as rage overtook him. With a thunderous roar, Chief lunged across the room, ready to strangle the man he once called Blood. It took 3 household staff to drag him back, their arms trembling as they restrained his fury. And Emeka? He stood tall, smirking shamelessly, almost proud of his betrayal. That cruel smile told Chief everything. His brother felt no remorse. At that moment, Chief realized the deepest wound was not just Ngozi's infidelity. It was his own brother's treachery, a betrayal that had shattered not just his marriage, but the very foundation of trust within his family. The room fell into a suffocating silence, broken only by Chief's ragged breathing. His fury, once aimed at Emeka, shifted suddenly. His eyes turned sharply to Grace, the maid who stood frozen in the corner, her hands trembling, her lips quivering as though she had been carrying a secret for far too long. Grace's knees gave way as she sank slowly to the ground, tears streaming down her face. With a voice heavy with pain, she whispered, "Chief, years ago, that night, you forced yourself on me." Her words cracked the air like thunder. The entire household gasped. Chief's eyes widened in shock, but she continued, her sobs making every word tremble. "I never fought. I never spoke, because I was powerless. You were my master." I carried the shame in silence, and from that night, Amara was born. I raised her quietly, as though she were a curse, because I feared what people would say if they knew the truth. I thought she was a scar on my body and soul, but now you see, she is not a curse. She is yours. The confession hung in the air like a dark cloud. Chief staggered backwards, the strength leaving his body. His knees buckled, and he collapsed into a chair, his face buried in his trembling hands. The truth had landed like a hammer blow. The daughter he had mocked, the one he treated like a stranger in his own house, the child who had grown up under whispers and neglect, Amara, was his only true blood. His vision blurred with tears as shame crashed over him like a raging sea. For years, he had despised Grace and her daughter, never knowing that his sin had birthed the only truth left in his shattered family. Now, with his marriage destroyed and his brother revealed as a traitor, Chief realized the bitter irony. The child he rejected was the only one who truly belonged to him. His chest heaved as guilt consumed him. The proud man who once believed he had built an unshakable empire was broken, haunted by the consequences of his own actions. News spread like wildfire. Neighbors whispered in corners. His wife betrayed him with his brother. Others hissed, "The maid's child is the only real heir." The scandal tore through the community, leaving Chief humiliated. His children at school were mocked, his once proud name dragged in the mud. The empire he built stood, but his home, his pride, lay in ruins. Chief sat in his empty living room, the silence louder than thunder. Ngozi left with her children, Emeka vanished in disgrace, and Grace stood clutching Amara, uncertain of tomorrow. Chief stared at a single family photo on the wall, his voice heavy with sorrow. "I built my life on lies, and in the end, the only truth I had left was the child I once rejected."